All right. Well, hey.
And we're back with episode 4. And
I'm
John's
Johnny.
back.
I'm Johnny the Shoulder.
Sorry about that,
I'll
John.
fix it.
You can always move the chair back, guys.
Well, we tried moving it a little bit.
All right. Now we can see half of each other's face.
Yeah, as long as we can see half your face, we know that you're there.
There you go.
Okay, so, again, we are on episode 4.
Episode 4.
This is a very interesting episode.
The voyage home.
Smartass.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
But this is an interesting episode because we're going to be talking about demons with my review and
psychotics,
psychopaths with you.
They practically go hand in hand a little bit because
Yeah, it seems like a lot of
demons cause psychopaths. So.
Sometimes. A lot of them claim that the devil made you do it. But anyway, so let's tell you guys the movies we're reviewing. We're doing Faust by F.W. Murnau from 1927. The 2001 Faust, Love of the Damned, based off the comic book. American Psycho.
American Psycho and Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock.
Of course, this is the episode where we feature our Artist of the Week.
Right.
Which is a
new segment.
New segment.
Now that we got more time to
do this.
Mess around and kind of just whatever.
And we actually didn't talk about a comparison. I think we should do The Fly this time. What do you think?
You think
The
we should
Fly?
do The Fly?
Yes, I remember.
The Fly.
Let's do The Fly.
All right, and of course we have our wonderful top 5 list, or in this case, our bottom 5.
Our worst.
All right, JJ,
list.
this was your
This is
pick
my
for
idea.
this, so I'm going to let you start.
All right. Well, top 5 worst horror movies
ever made.
we've ever seen.
And this doesn't even count as worst that we like in any way, shape, or form. These are ones that should be flushed down the toilet, right? Agreed
Exactly.
with everybody?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So JJ, let's hear what you got.
Number 5. Lake Placid 2.
Oh God.
I saw Lake Placid 1 when I was younger, and of course as a kid I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, alligator. I didn't put realism to it.
Yeah.
Now I watch it, I'm like, this is the dumbest movie. But then I saw Lake Placid 2.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna cut you off real quick.
Okay.
Lake Placid is in New York. For those of you guys who don't know.
Yeah. How would it?
Everybody has heard the urban legend. Somebody has alligators. They flushed them down the toilet in New York, and they became supersized. That's where this whole movie came from.
Of course.
But they decided, hey, let's put it somewhere nice. Because obviously nobody wants to be crammed in a sewer for, 6
That would
months.
just make it more suspenseful, though. I think.
Was it like in Maine or New Hampshire or something like that?
No,
it was
Lake Placid, New York.
Oh,
yeah, it was
okay,
in New York.
okay.
Although if you want to go with a sewer one, and I know I'm kind of
Gatorade. That's good.
No, alligator from the 80s.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right. I remember
From the
that.
80s, which was actually a really cool flick. I liked Gator a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so number
All
4.
Santa Slays. Bill Goldberg.
God.
All right, come on. I'm killing Santa Claus. Any kid watching this is petrified of Santa Claus for the rest of his life.
Okay, right there. Killer Santa, there is one great movie, and I can't even say movie, it's more like a 1-hour episode, that did have a Killer Santa, and it was a great one. Tales from the Crypt, Season 1, Episode 1. Their very premiere episode.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the psycho killer and the little girl running
Exactly, and
right
she
in the
says,
house.
Mommy, look, I told you Santa was real, but he didn't have to come down the chimney. I let him in. And it was a great episode. Great episode.
Actually,
Way
another
to kick
one.
off a great show, huh?
It was.
Another one. It was.
I'm sure we'll talk Tales of the Crypt at some point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, eventually. We'll get
If
to
we
it.
don't talk at least about the show, we'll definitely have EC Comics as an artist of the week, the whole company.
Right.
Greatest comic book company ever, in my opinion.
A good killer Santa Claus, which was funny, a little cheesy, but very tongue-in-cheek, was on Futurama.
Yes, the Robot
Yes.
Santa.
Yes, the Robot Santa.
Robot
I mean,
Santa.
that was
Love
just like
Futurama.
awesome.
All right, well, we're diverting, so
Okay,
let's go to number
let's
3.
keep going.
Wrong Turn 4.
Oh my God!
Now, if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago I talked about Wrong Turn 1.
This makes me
And I
want-
said it was alright.
dude, for you just mentioning this makes me want to punch you in the balls.
But Wrong Turn 4 is like taking
It's horrible.
everything good about
It's-
Wrong Turn 2 and just doing the opposite.
Now we already discussed that with the previous one. Wrong Turn 2, which was made by Adam Green. Is that right?
Let's go with that.
I think it was Adam Green. Now I forget who it was now. I love Wrong Turn 2.
It's a good movie.
The makeup was good. The special effects were good, and the gore was up there.
And it kind of had a little history.
As you guys watching know, I'm a gore hound. I love that stuff. The gorier, the better.
No, really?
But Wrong Turn 4, oh my God. Dude, I watched Wrong Turn 4, actually, and believe it or not, it was on TV, on HBO, and right after was The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, the remake that will be...
Really? Okay, alright, sweet.
And That movie was made 25 plus years ago. Wrong Turn 4 was just made in 2011.
Yeah. It sucks.
The Fly looked like the newer flick. And I love The Fly.
That's sad.
And this is going to be actually a really hard debate later on. It's really hard.
It's gonna. It's all right.
Okay, so number 2.
These were really close together.
Okay.
Jason X.
What?
I like
I
Jason.
hated
I
that
did
movie.
too.
I hate that movie.
I thought it was actually.
I really liked Jason.
I didn't like
I
it.
thought it was an interesting.
I wasn't a big fan of Uber Jason. I wasn't a huge fan of Uber Jason, but I
thought he looked cool.
I thought like
But
when
I didn't
they
like
did the cybernetic upgrade with him with the silver mask. I thought it actually looked really cool.
So you like the Uber Jason?
I liked it.
I'm not a fan.
I actually liked the movie. Out of all the Jason movies, I think that was probably one of my favorites. The one I did not like the most
Jason
was
Goes to Manhattan.
Jason Goes to Manhattan. That was
I
the
hate that
dumbest.
movie.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
That didn't make my list, but I hate that movie.
But then the other one they did, Freddy versus Jason.
Oh,
That was funny.
It was good. It was funny. I don't think it was meant to be like a serious part of the.
I don't know, but it was-
series.
I'm sorry, Jason is supposed to be taken serious. Freddy's supposed to be a little more comical, and I understand that.
Mhm.
But the
Put them
reason
two together.
the major reason I dislike this movie is for 2 reasons.
Hmm.
One was because of Robert Englund pulling out for a sequel, is why they didn't do like they did with the comic of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Because in the second one, Ash was supposed to show up and take him on,
That would have been sick.
which I was really excited
Oh
about.
my god, that would have been so cool.
And the other reason was there was an alternative ending
Really?
with a third major horror villain, and I'm a huge fan, and I know
Leatherface?
you love this movie, and I know you love this movie.
What?
The third villain who was supposed to show up, he was actually supposed to drag these 2 characters back to hell, and that was Pinhead.
Oh,
Nice.
yes.
When I heard that they weren't going to do that, and
Oh,
it was an
you were
alternative
probably
ending that
pissed.
was shot, I was bullshit.
That
Because I'm
sucks.
sorry, Jason's cool, Freddy's cool, Pinhead is the
Awesome.
fucking...
Oh yeah. Oh, Pinhead was.
Out of those 3, the guy I would definitely be the most terrified if I ever saw him come out from
Pinhead.
under my bed would be Pinhead. I would crap my pants.
Well, that or Beetlejuice, but you know.
Yeah,
Beetlejuice is different.
Beetlejuice is great. All right,
Okay.
so number 1.
Number 1 worst movie I've ever seen. It's a cheese fest. And what makes it worse for me is that it's so bad. It's bad acting. It has bad script, and it's from probably one of the greatest horror writers. Even though his newer stuff is a little tarnished.
True.
You know,
True.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Maximum Overdrive was one of his short stories,
And it was a horrible movie.
and it was a horrible movie. And it was
Actually,
I read the
I
story.
will
It
kick
was
this
pretty
in
good.
here. It was not called Maximum Overdrive in the book Night Shift. It was actually called Cars.
That's true. They
Oh, I read the one where they
no, it's called
renamed it.
Trucks. It was called Trucks.
No, Trucks
is a different-
Trucks is a different story.
Okay. Yeah, because.
All right, so we've got your
Actually-
list, John. Your top 5 horrible horror films.
Okay, this is in no discerning order here.
Okay.
I got my list of top 5, but I have one that I put on there for honorable mention.
Okay.
Okay, one is number 5 is The Stuff.
Okay. Now I've never seen this.
Okay, The Stuff is basically, if anybody's seen this, it actually features Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live.
Really?
And what it is, it was supposed to be Marshmallow Fluff, this new formula that they had come out with, and they were selling it in the stores. And what happened was somehow it was alive, and what it would come up out of the jars, flow all over the city.
Did anybody actually go, "It's alive! It's alive"?
You know what? I think somebody actually tried to say that once in the movie, but it's and then the white fluff comes out of his mouth, and it was just
That
like.
one- I'm sorry. This seems like I would love this movie just because of the cheese factor.
And it was just, it was so cheesy and so badly made. I mean, it was like, dude, like you couldn't think of something better. Like chili would have been better instead of marshmallow fluff. I mean, come on, marshmallow fluff is going to be the greatest thing to go with peanut butter since jelly. Seriously, and you had to go and like bastardize the hell out of it in a damn horror movie.
Peanut butter and banana is the greatest thing.
Exactly.
I gotta try that.
Oh my god! And deep fried.
Toasted bread.
Seriously.
Oh my god. Oh, I
Put it
don't
in
know
a
deep
frying
fried,
pan
but I haven't tried
and
it
fry
yet.
it with some bacon grease.
Really?
Seriously,
I
it was
have
the
to try that.
greatest in sandwich.
I'm already hungry. You're just making it
Yeah.
worse.
All right, next.
Okay.
Number
Next
4.
one is Jawbreaker. Even though I know it's technically not really a horror movie.
You can kind of give or take on it because of the deaths and everything.
Right.
It's not super gory. There is a little bit of nudity, and I do mean a little bit.
Yeah, and there is an
But-
interesting side note is that Rose McGowan, who's in the movie,
Love
at the
her.
time was actually dating the guy she ends up having sex with in the movie, who was Marilyn Manson.
That's true. It was one of his first movie debuts.
Yep. And
The only other one that he did afterwards, actually, and a lot of people don't know this, was the comedy movie, Not Another Teen Movie.
Really?
Yes,
He
I
shows
saw
up,
that.
and he shows up only for 2 split-second scenes. One is actually where the jock Jake, his sister comes walking in, and she had already graduated. There's a goth kid who walks behind her,
That's
and it's
him?
Manson.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
And the other scene is actually at the party where Janie comes walking in, and he's up on the stairs making out with some other goth chick. And it's the only two scenes.
Nice.
It's the only two scenes.
That's.
But no, Jawbreaker to me, it wasn't really a horror movie, but it's like.
It does kind of rank up there, like I said, because of the deaths.
It does, but it's just
I would
like,
almost put it in that kind of comical horror film
almost
genre.
like.
So I'll let it go. I'll let it slide.
Okay. Next is Silent Night, Deadly Night,
AKA Black Christmas.
Absolutely the worst horror
Now, are we
movie.
talking the original or the remake?
This I don't know if it's
both.
I think it's both.
Just throw them both in there.
I don't know. It's just I don't know if this was the remake.
I've seen the new
came
one
out in the '80s, so it's like.
Okay, so you're talking the original.
The original.
Yeah,
I saw the remake. And the remake was.
I mean,
seen
this
both,
this had to be like the dumbest movie I'd ever seen.
Not only have I seen both, but I unfortunately own both.
Ooh, damn.
It's a curse to you.
It is a curse to me, and I think and the thing is, like, I watch it at least once a year to try and like
refresh
to think if I like this movie or not, because I forget about it.
And then you remember you don't.
Yeah, it's like as soon as I get to the opening sequence, it's like.
So warning to you.
Don't watch.
Instead of watching it, watch this episode and remind yourself that you don't like this movie.
This is going to be one of these ones that I'm going to put on a yearly loop just to watch it and remember. All right, and your number one.
Actually, no, that was my number. That was number 3. I got.
So you had 2 more.
Okay, I got Student Bodies. I don't really remember this one a whole lot. I remember seeing it once, and it was like the biggest piece of shit that ever came out of Hollywood.
You want to know who? Here's an interesting fact about Student Bodies, and I'm probably the one person who remembers this because I saw this movie again just recently because it was actually on the Sci-Fi Channel not too long ago. And after doing, I think it was Friday the 13th, Kevin Bacon was in this movie.
Really?
He was the main male character.
It's been so long since I've seen it, but I do remember it as being like one of the worst movies made.
Oh, it's god awful. It's god awful.
And it was like, okay, my number one choice, and this, I have not seen it, but I heard about it, and I read a review on it, what it was all about. Thanksgiving.
All right,
I'm jumping homicidal, flesh-eating turkey.
I'll let Ed carry it away. He's probably
You know what? I'm gonna go into my list only because I've got some that match up with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
For once, we've got ones that match up.
Wow.
For number 5.
Oh wait! I did want to mention honorable mention. Even though it's not really, it's a comedy, but it was a stupid comedy, but it was also a horror movie. Was My Demon Lover.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That was just, and that featured the guy who played the character Nick on Family Ties.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Okay, go ahead.
My list at number 5, Night of the Lepus. Made in 1972, back when the grindhouse cheap horror films were made. Population of rabbits in Texas. They were like, oh well, there's so many of them. We need to kill some of them all.
Kill a rabbit! Kill a rabbit!
I just throw that in there. They create this steroid that's supposed to knock off the reproductive system of male rabbits. Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
Of course.
What ends up happening is they become these mutated 150-pound flesh-eating rabbits.
Oops.
No gore, no nudity, no real great deaths. And to make the rabbits go from to this big, let's take a telescope camera, feed it down a rabbit hole, and supersize the image. Fucking horrible.
Horrible idea.
Number 4. And John, I know you're gonna love this film, but I hate it. Man-Thing, based off the Marvel comic book.
I thought it was good.
I love Man-Thing the comic. I hate the movie. The movie was god awful. It was a sci-fi original, and I love most of the sci-fi originals, as both of you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan. And I hated it. I could not stand it. And again, I think I have this in my collection, and I've watched it maybe twice, just to hope that I could like it because I love Man-Thing.
Maybe as older you grow.
Maybe it'll be one of these films that
you'll appreciate it later.
I mean, not to get off topic here, but I've heard albums by bands that the first time I listened to it, it's like absolute garbage. And then the more you listen to it, you start thinking,
I've done that too.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah, I've been there.
Number 3, JJ, this one matches up with you. Maximum Overdrive.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, great actor, but horrible acting in this movie.
Horrible acting.
You know, I actually had a couple of Stephen King ones that I bounced around, but this is the one that I kept coming back to.
It's
The other one that was right up there was Pet Sematary.
Oh, come on.
Pet Cemetery was
Pet Sematary
it
was
wasn't
good.
it wasn't gory. It wasn't.
It was horrid.
It was
so
all
bad.
right. But for a Stephen
So
King
bad.
movie,
It
it was
was-
pretty low.
It was more suspenseful than
That
anything
one
else.
was up there, and the other Stephen King one
Mhm.
was Children of the Corn 666: The Return of Isaac.
Okay, I never saw that one. I've seen
That
all
just
the other
sounds
15
stupid.
It was stupid because Isaac died, and
Yeah.
hey, let's bring him back from the dead as a teenager.
Oh wait, he aged.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how's that?
Okay, number 2, and again, John, I know you love her because she was in Jonah Hex and she was in Transformers.
Good.
I hate this broad. I think she's a horrible actress. She's not even attractive. Jennifer's Body. This movie, anytime that I saw it, I wanted to see it. I seriously had to punch myself in the balls to keep myself awake.
I saw Jennifer's Body. I still like Tabitha. I still liked that one much better than
Oh yeah,
Jennifer's
and
Body.
it was a low budget film. It was great.
Yeah.
Tabitha was great.
No, I never
Jennifer's
seen
Body
that.
was-
I never seen Jennifer's Body, but yes, okay.
Dude, it's
I would admit,
the
she's fine.
the
Okay,
lines
she
are
was
bad.
just like,
The acting is bad. I mean,
saw
come on.
that.
When they're going to see this local rock band that's trying to make it big, and she's talking to her best friend about how she the best friend is still a virgin and everything, and Jennifer looks at her, Megan Fox looks at her and says, "Well, thanks to so and so, my back door is not even a virgin anymore."
oh wow.
I'm like, what the? This is such a bad movie. Again, with how much sex there's supposed to be in this movie,
Yeah.
no nudity, there's little to no gore.
Yeah.
The storyline's stupid. The acting is stupid. It's just a horrible, horrible movie.
Actors nowadays.
Number 1. Agree with John on this one. Thanks, Killing.
Oh, goodness.
I saw this movie with my ex. Or I tried to watch it with my ex, I should say. And
What about that?
no, it wasn't even for any like good reasons that we didn't watch the movie. It was because the movie was just so bad. I watched maybe 15 minutes of it, and the first line out of the turkey's mouth is he's chasing this pilgrim
Wait,
back.
it talks?
Yes, the turkey talks.
That's just stupid.
Yes.
He's chasing this pilgrim woman because it's from the first Thanksgiving, and she's completely topless, which makes no sense. And he's got this knife, and he says to her, "Hey, nice tits." This movie is stupid. For those of you out there who love Thanksgiving, because I know there are people who love this movie, you're fucking retarded. And you know what? If that makes us lose viewers, I don't care.
Yeah.
I will gladly lose viewers over people who think that Thanksgiving is a great movie.
I've seen bits and
Do you
pieces,
agree?
but
Do you guys
I
agree?
Yes.
I've seen
Okay.
bits and pieces, and when I saw it, I was just.
So I would say that all three of us are in agreement that Thanksgiving is the worst horror film ever made.
Yes.
Yes, one of them.
Okay, so now that that's done, I think Artist of the Week is the next one because we actually already talked about him a little bit.
Earlier today.
We did actually with one of John's picks.
All right.
Like I said, it's a musician, metal musician. You and I
Okay.
are huge fans, big fans of him. His newest album came out last year, Born Villain.
Okay.
Actually, you had a copy with you actually a moment ago.
I did. My friend Anna actually wanted it, so I'm just like, take it, and
Okay.
I'll buy it off of her
All
later.
right. So for those of you that don't know who I'm talking about,
Drum roll.
we're talking about the one and only Marilyn Manson. Manson is one of these guys who, love him or hate him, he truly is a horror icon when it comes to music.
He is. He had some. Like I've seen some of his music videos that are just disturbing.
No.
They are. I mean, you look at Beautiful People, Dope Show,
Yep.
and of course with his newest one, Born Villain, and the title track, Born Villain. If you watch the music video, he takes a lot from a great. I don't want to call it a horror film, but it really kind of is. The Holy Mountain. Have you ever seen that film?
No.
I think so.
It's a Mexican film, and it's a really unusual film.
No,
it's in English. It's in English.
Oh,
He
okay.
takes a lot from that, and he also takes from a feminist horror book called Eyes of the Dying, and this is the first time that he's had a video that features nudity.
Really?
Wow.
He actually has a woman who is spread eagle, and he goes down like this, and at first you think it's a marble, and then he steps back and he walks away, and I apologize if I offend anyone. Her pussy lips blink,
Oh.
and there's an eyeball,
What?
which is part of the book. And I saw this music video and I loved it. And here's an interesting
That's
fact.
disturbing.
Here's an interesting fact. Guy who directed it was Shia LaBeouf from the Transformers
No
films.
way.
way.
Really?
They became friends. They met at a restaurant, and believe it or not, LaBeouf is a huge metalhead, huge Manson fan. And he says he came up to him and says, "Look, I'm wanting to direct, and I want to work with you." And Manson says, "Well, I'm working on a new album. How would you feel about doing a music video?" And they did the music video, and LaBeouf was talking about how Manson's a cinephobe. He's or not a cinephobe. A cinephile like you and I. We don't really watch TV. We watch movies most of the time.
Right.
And he watches no TV except for the movies. That's all he watches when it comes to TV. It's movies.
Really? Okay.
He says that he's got little to no electricity. You walk in and the place is lit with candles. He actually had to use his cell phone as a flashlight. He was saying because it was so dark.
Nice.
But again, love him or hate him, Manson is our featured.
Now I want to say something. I've heard. I'm sure you've heard the rumor. I'm sure you heard the rumor.
Oh.
I don't
Is it
care.
about the ribs?
I don't care if it's true.
Is it about the ribs?
It is about the ribs. I don't care if it's true because
It's
if he wants to go do that, let that be his business. But if he didn't do it, now rumors going around, people just knock it off. He's a great guy.
See, I don't like him. I honestly I cannot stand. I've only heard one song by him that I actually liked, and that was a song that he did for the movie Spawn, Long Road Out of Hell.
Yeah, it was a great song.
And I liked that. That's the only song by him that I like. Because when I look at this guy,
Superstar album, I think.
Yeah.
And
because when I look at this guy looks like a walking nightmare.
Well, that was his whole thing. He wanted to bring.
I know he wanted to bring the shock factor to it, but
back to the roots.
Back to where it was. But jumping back to the rumor that you were talking about with the whole rib thing, it is false. I've actually met Manson on several occasions through either various Ozfests or my favorite one actually was at the Verizon Center. I saw him play with Slayer and Bleeding Through. And
sweet.
As you guys know, I'm a huge Slayer fan,
Yeah.
huge Bleeding Through fan. And he was kind enough to come down and actually sign my copy of the Satanic Bible, which was pretty rad.
Sweet.
Interesting.
And I had to ask him about the whole
rib thing.
I actually asked him about a bunch of different things, like if he was going through the sex change operation, which was false.
Wait, what?
Yeah, supposedly he was going through a sex change operation.
Geez.
It was false. The ribs was false.
People come up with the stupid.
It was.
crap
The
for
only
him.
one that was true was the reason for Twiggy leaving the band. And that was because Manson took money from the band to buy Nazi memorabilia, which I could see.
Didn't he use some of that in his videos?
Yeah, so I could see that. A mummified baby, which I could see him buying.
Yeah.
But the third one kind of weirded me out. Stuffed animals.
Wait, okay.
Stuffed animals.
Something about Marilyn Manson weirded this guy out. This guy has a collection of skeletons in his apartment.
That's true, I do.
It's true, I've seen him.
Him and Marilyn Manson buying stuffed animals weird you out?
Yeah, because it's not...
Seriously.
It didn't...
It's Marilyn Manson.
I know, but still.
It didn't weird me out for a creep factor. It weirded me out because...
The last thing you would ever think he would do?
Exactly.
Right.
But then I found out that he loves to bake, and he's a big fan of cupcakes. And
What?
That's his favorite thing to do. And on his downtime, he likes to bake.
Well, you know what?
So
he's human.
I do have an interesting anecdote about Marilyn Manson. When he came out with his autobiography years ago, I happened to be in I happened to be in San Francisco with my girlfriend then at the time getting her first tattoo. Guy rushes in and says, "Dude, Manson's he's over at Ghirardelli Square giving away free copies, signed copies of his book.
Yep.
But you have to win them, and to win them, you have to win in an enema shooting contest."
Yeah, I remember that actually.
And I was like, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, I hate this guy, but I got 3 friends that would actually kill to get that. I actually thought about going over to trying out for it.
Dude, I would have. I
completely
would have.
I'm like, it's just like...
As disgusting as it is, I would have done it.
Yeah, it's just...
Alright,
no.
so JJ, love him or hate him?
I love him.
John,
Not a fan.
You hate him?
Yep.
Alright, so we got 2 love hims, 1 hate him, because I love Manson. The guy's great.
He's
really nice guy, really intelligent guy.
I mean, I'm sure he's a cool guy, but dude, he's just creepy looking.
Well, so was Alice Cooper back in the day.
Alice Cooper is creepy, but dude...
Alright, so we're going to cut that conversation short because
we got like
other
20
segments.
minutes.
Right.
Alright, so let's get into this. Real quick, real fast. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh, wait. It's going up, so never mind. No,
We've got 24 minutes.
24?
Yeah, 24 minutes.
No, it's going up. It's at 11, see?
It's counting up.
So we had an hour, we got like 40 minutes.
Oh, so we're good. We're good.
We're good. But
Okay.
anyway, continue on. We'll do
We'll start with me, and we'll start off with Faust, Love of the Damned from 2001. Based off the comic, like I said a couple of times.
I never read the comic. So.
I never did either. I actually found out about this strictly looking up the Faust movie, the other one that we'll be talking about, and I came across it, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. Found out it was based off of a comic. I did read some of the comic online after finding out about it. Very erotic, very, very dark, very typical satanic things. We do get introduced to Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Or I should say M, sorry. for those of you who have known this, and I'm doing it wrong. I liked the character a lot. I thought he was a really interesting character.
He was interesting.
And I love the fact that no matter how many times they tried to kill him, he always came back. That was cool. But let's get to the actual point of Faust.
The second one? I meant the 2001 one?
The 2001.
Okay.
Normal guy, and his house gets broken into, and his girlfriend at the time is killed because she's an illegal alien.
Yes.
And he starts telling these guys, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. And he plans to commit suicide. We saw that he was going to jump off a bridge, and M offers him the ability to get his revenge. And he gives them these two razor sharp, almost like Wolverine-esque talons.
Yeah.
And he just goes and he starts slicing and dicing. And the first kill scene where he gets his revenge was just awesome. Where the hooker comes up to him.
Oh yeah.
And the guy punches him, and he just looks at the guy and he just goes right through him. Great kill scene. Head cut off scene was awesome. And he throws it at the guy who killed his girlfriend, and he looks at him and he says, "No, this isn't for revenge. This is for pleasure." And he just comes down and shanks the guy.
Huh.
Great kill scene.
Great kill scene.
But then when he wants to stop, M tells him, "No, you can't stop. You're mine now. You signed the contract." And he tries to kill M. But M buries him alive and thinks that he kills him. And the power of the revenge, because not only was his own anger with himself and M there, but the revenge from his previous girlfriend, because he does get a later one, which we won't talk too much about, forces him to come back as this supernatural anti-hero?
Yeah, let's go along with that anti-hero.
Kind of like a Spawn-esque character, but long before Spawn came out.
I'll say this Faust is I've never read the comic book myself. Or
McFarlane was very inspired. So if you're a fan of Spawn, Faust was before, and McFarlane was very, very inspired.
Actually, this sounds almost a lot like Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's very similar to that as well. However, I don't think Ghost Rider was inspired by it at all, because it did come out a little before Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider.
Well,
not by much. I think like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Stan Lee's always been inspired by classic literature. And
True.
Because Jekyll and Hyde, the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he might have been inspired by this.
It's a good possibility. Now, obviously, you weren't with us when we watched the film. JJ, you and I watched the film at my place. What did you think? Did you love it or hate it?
Well, it wasn't the most terrific movie I've ever seen, but it was definitely interesting. I enjoyed it, but it was just it didn't.
I'm gonna jump right
sit
in.
with me
I'm
right.
gonna jump right in on this, even though it had very little to do with the classic Faust story. I love this movie.
Well, I saw Faust after. Anyway,
I love this movie because, as both of you know, I'm a comic fan, and I especially love horror comics. Faust really took the superhero and the horror comic, just like Spawn, just like Ghost Rider, meshed the two very well. Like I said, I loved the character of M. I loved Faust himself. The dialogue was kind of cheesy. The special effects weren't that great. But this movie, I would definitely watch it again.
Well, I didn't say I wouldn't watch it again. It's a good movie. It has
great action. Great action.
Good action, interesting characters. It's just...
all right, so
it doesn't sit well with me.
1 out of 10, what would you give it?
5, and I'm being nice.
5 and being nice? Wow. 5 and being nice. Well, you know what? I give it an 8.
Okay, you can give it an 8. I'll let you.
So that's a knocking. So we're actually looking at a rating of about a 6.5.
Yeah, let's go along with that.
John, like we said, John, unfortunately you haven't seen the movie, so you can't really weigh in too much.
I would like to weigh in on one thing. Batman would totally kick Faust's ass.
Complete bullshit.
Totally.
Bullshit.
No. Batman would do it.
I'm in the middle. I'm just going to stay out of it.
Okay, you know Batman. You saw Faust. And we're going to be talking about Batman right now, actually. With American Psycho.
Okay,
we're switching over to me now?
We are. We're switching to American Psycho.
We're talking about a superhero who was turned into a vampire, who fought the bloodlust, became a human again, took down an entire legion of vampires on his own, by himself. And you're telling me he could not stand toe-to-toe with Faust? Seriously? No.
You know what? Screw both of them, because Galactus is just going to come. He's going to use the planet. So fuck you. So fuck you. Galactus wins.
Okay, fine.
Galactus wins. Fuck you.
But see, Galactus isn't even in DC. So see, aha! See,
but neither is Faust.
Yeah, wait, was he on Vertigo?
No.
I thought he was in Vertigo.
No. He was with an independent.
Oh, I thought he was in Vertigo.
No, he was with an independent.
Oh,
so,
okay.
fuck you, Galactus wins.
Fine, Galactus wins.
Well, let's move on now.
All right.
Alright, so American Psycho.
American Psycho.
from
Oh, I love this
1987.
movie.
Okay,
This
I
movie's
haven't
as
seen
old
this.
as I am.
I love this movie so much. I
I do
don't know
too.
why. Christian Bale is just freaking amazing in this movie.
Neat thing about this
He's
movie
scary as hell.
with Christian Bale,
Oh my goodness, I love
his
it.
teeth were actually really messed up before doing this movie. He actually went and had his teeth straightened and cleaned, so he had that perfect
Had that.
Brad Pitt smile.
Yep. You gotta look
He
good
had
for
to
the
look
cameras.
rich, of course, because he was a tycoon.
Okay, oh, I gotta cut you off on this.
Okay.
The first, I don't think it's actually the first kill scene. The Huey Lewis in the News kill scene.
Hit the beat square.
His axe was so much nicer looking than most serial killers. It was nice and shiny. It was like silver.
It was a
and
clean
it's like,
axe.
but the thing is, it was supposed to have that 80s cheese factor, and it really doesn't.
It doesn't.
The one cheese factor sign, and it was his idea to do it, was he says, I think I should moonwalk. And then he does in that scene.
He does.
And I love that
I
because he's
remember that
talking to the
part.
guy, and he's talking about the music, and he says, he's going on and on, and he goes, hey, Paul! And the guy looks, great.
I do.
That's one
American
of the
Psycho,
best kill scenes.
and again, American Psycho, the first one,
Yes.
Was the new one?
fantastic. The second one with the female was horrid.
Was the new one?
We're not even going to talk
Okay.
about that.
I don't even know about it, but now
I
that you
didn't
said
even
that,
know
I'm not
about
even gonna
the
try.
Female version.
Yeah, there's a second one where she becomes obsessed with what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, like a fan
Pretty much.
falling.
And it's horrible. So don't. If you guys have seen it, I apologize because it is a horrible movie and it's a travesty to how awesome the first one is.
But
all right, so
also,
again, we're trying to go through these quick. So shoot your thing. Go.
Okay.
Shoot your load.
At the end, it's totally awesome how he's kind of stuck in that lifestyle because nobody
is.
believes him,
He is.
and he hates that.
All right. So rating time. 10. 1 out of 10. Go. 8. John.
I give it a 6.
6.
Yeah.
I give it a 9.
Really?
This movie's just fucking awesome. One of the greatest serial killer movies of all time.
It
It
inspires me.
It does to me too.
It
And
inspires
actually,
me with my
And it
writing.
actually gave me the idea to get business cards.
Really?
But I'm bummed. Because one serial killer is going to carry business
That's right. That's
You got a point there.
cards. Okay, so back to me. 1927.
Faust.
By F.W. Murnau.
love it.
As you guys know, I love Murnau. He's my all-time favorite director. He created Nosferatu, which is my favorite movie of all time.
And which we've capitalized on.
It was a perfect 10. With Faust, it came out 5 years later. From 1922 from Nosferatu to 1927 with Faust. Faust obviously is his film version of the play Faust,
Right.
which is the first story of bargaining with the devil.
Right.
Faust was a scientist. He was tired of it, and he gave up his soul for earthly possessions and pleasures of the flesh.
Right. Which totally unchristian.
Now, this movie was really cool because I love that you actually saw Lucifer claiming that he could convert Faust to disliking God, and he actually is there with his wings blocking out the sun to the sea. And it was the first time that you saw anything like
a
this
great
with a
scene.
small city and something giant. The angel battle between Michael and Lucifer
Yeah.
at the beginning was great. And when you actually see Mephistopheles show up to Faust and offer the deal, I thought that was great.
That was a
he
good
looked
scene.
like your traditional devil.
He did.
But he was suave. He was sexy. He really didn't have
They
the horns. Like
No.
they were very minimal. Like
But he had, I don't know if
he
you
had
noticed,
the
he had the
curled mustache.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was looking. I was like, is that shadowing or is that an
I thought
actual
it was
mustache?
at first. I thought it was at first.
But
and I love this movie.
it's a great movie.
I don't know if you've seen this movie.
I've never seen it, but it sounds like an interesting plot.
It's a great-
I love this movie.
great movie.
Absolutely love it. Rating from 1 to 10. Go.
Oh, I love it so much. 10.
10.
I say 10.
I can't give it a 10 because I actually do like Nosferatu better, even though it's an older film. 9.5.
I'm on even with the but we will. I think we both
Agree.
agree that FW is
Greatest director of all.
greatest director of all time, in our opinion, because obviously
Everything
we've rated
that-
him so high on like a pedestal.
Yeah, I
of
mean
awesomeness.
you've given him a 20. I've given him a 19.5. So far, obviously Murnau, greatest director.
greatest director of
All right, so that goes to your next one, which is Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
one of my favorite directors. Like,
Were you just trying to stab him or jerk him off?
I'm trying to,
please don't. I'm not. I don't.
The
fly
shower
that way.
scene with the stabbing through.
Oh.
Yeah, the way that you're doing it is
Anyway.
So obviously, Johnny just made this big gay comedy.
I mean, he's not my favorite director. My favorite director is Vincent Price. He's like number 2.
Price only did 2 films, so I can't really rate him up there as a great director, unfortunately.
But the films he did was terrific.
Great actor. Great writer, too.
Yes.
All right,
Alfred Hitchcock
so let's go. Psycho.
Awesome.
Norman Bates, obviously one of the greatest horror icons of all time.
Of course.
Everybody knows, at least of Psycho.
If you say Bates Motel, they think Psycho.
They think Psycho.
That's all you need.
And obviously, Norman Bates, as well as several other psychotic killers in other movies, was inspired by real-life serial killer Ed Gein.
Yep.
Cannibal killer, for those of you who don't know. Really fucked up dude. He had a thing about his mother, just as Norman does, where he preserved her room, actually exhumed her body and everything. The other 2 that were actually inspired by that was Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw, because he was known for wearing his victims' skins,
right,
as well as being cannibalistic. And number 2, this is probably one of my favorite movies, was Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. It puts the lotion on its skin. Sorry, I had to do it.
It's all good.
But of course, the famous scene, shower scene.
Yes.
Everybody knows the shower.
I mean,
shower
come on,
scene.
Come on.
It is one of the most predominant scenes that everybody remembers. For me, though, it's the initial scene where the heroine finds Mother Bates in the chair.
Yes. And
she freaks out, and then Norman comes running in, dressed as Mother. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. And when he's actually in the psych ward, and he's got the straight jacket, and you hear Mother's voice.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are my 2 favorite scenes.
Those are great scenes. And probably my favorite scene is the last one you mentioned. But still, the one that stood out to everybody, of course, is the shower scene.
Which
it was just like one of those unexpected.
Psycho did for showers what Jaws did for the ocean.
Oh God, yes.
Pretty much, yes.
People were afraid to get in the shower because they were afraid that somebody was going to kill them.
I'm still afraid to get in the shower. Sorry.
I can explain a few things. Kidding.
Boy.
Kidding.
Anyway.
All right. So rating 1 to 10. Go.
8.
John.
8.
9.
You always have to be the one step higher than us, don't you?
I'm always going to be the asshole.
See,
we're so close.
Psycho is my second favorite Hitchcock movie. That's the only reason I give it a 9.
Sure, one's probably The Birds or something.
No, my favorite.
Actually, I had The Birds recorded. My favorite's Vertigo, though.
My favorite is Vertigo.
Vertigo. Wow, we actually agree on something.
Actually,
wow.
Vertigo would be a 10 for me.
Out of all the Hitchcock movies,
my
favorite one was North by Northeast.
That was good.
That was a good movie.
That was that one a Rear Window. Rear Window was weird though.
So we got those done.
Yes.
Final segment, which is our comparison of the 1956 Vincent Price Fly against the 1987, or was it 88?
For what?
I think it was 88. Yeah, 88. Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
I love Jeff Goldblum.
All right, let's start with, of course, the original.
Yep.
Yes.
Vincent Price's Fly. Much more of a science fiction.
Yes,
definitely.
Scientists trying to
splice. Wasn't splicing?
I think in this one he was trying to splice, and somehow he got combined with the fly, where his hand mutated into like a claw, and his head became the
giant fly head.
And his, I think it was his fiance.
Yeah.
Tries to go and comfort him, and he turns around, and it was the first time of seeing.
And she
freaks out.
Of course, you got the stereotypical screaming scene.
But what, and I think you guys will agree with me, greatest scene in this was when you actually see Vincent with the kid in the park, and the spider's coming to get the fly, and it's got his head in the hand. He's going, help me, help me.
Yeah,
that was the greatest
scene. Oh my God, that was good.
That was the greatest scene of that.
Yep.
Now to the Jeff Goldblum one. Special effects in this were amazing. For
yes. Oh my God, yes.
And the fact that he was creating a teleporter, which was obviously talked about with Star Trek and all these other stuff.
Right.
And the housefly gets in there and he shows up and he starts to, and the way that he mutates is so slow and
it's very subtle, and it's like it just slowly his body parts start to fall off, fingernails and whatnot. Then he shows. Actually, one part that would always creep me out was when he did a video of showing how a fly eats.
Oh, the vomiting.
Oh, that was just damn.
Now, what was your favorite scene in the movie? I want to see if you guys' favorite is my favorite.
Okay, my favorite scene was probably when the guy who shows up to fight him.
Yes,
and he's just standing there, and you know, and he literally has the speed and strength of a human fly.
Yeah.
Right, but probably the scene that stands out for me the most is in the bar.
The arm wrestling, right?
Yes, the arm wrestling, and he takes the arm, and he doesn't just beat the guy; he breaks the arm through the skin.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
and I'm just like,
so is that your favorite scene too?
I put that as my favorite scene.
My favorite scene is actually where he gets the coworker and he vomits on his the arm and the leg.
Yep.
And his arm melts off and the leg melts off.
Oh goodness.
That was probably my favorite scene.
That's
Outside of it,
Wait, no, wasn't that the guy that was in competition with him for the girl?
Gina Davis.
Yeah, for Gina Davis up there.
And at the time, Goldblum was married to Gina Davis.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I'm absolutely in love with Gina Davis. I think she's
gorgeous as hell. Plus, they made a sequel to it too.
They did make a Fly too, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. When I saw The Fly for the first time and she takes off the stocking and everything, total win. Total.
Yeah.
And
But
I saw it a long time ago.
I watched this again actually just recently, and my heart skipped a beat seeing that because I was just like, it's my
oh, dude, she's gorgeous.
Not quite that bad. But all right, so
I guess
John,
the makeup on the final fly when he comes out of the thing and he's got the big monstrous looking, weird looking the fly head.
Yep.
That was just like one of I have to take a hat off to the guy who did that.
Oh, it was
because
great
it was just like, wow.
Okay, so John.
Yes.
Original or remake?
I gotta go remake.
Remake.
Yes.
I'm okay. I'm a little shocked, but all right. Original or remake?
It's Price my favorite.
So
Original.
I'm right there with you.
I love the original.
I gotta give it to Price, and the reason I give it to Price is I don't like Jeff Goldblum.
I don't mind Jeff Goldblum. He's been in a lot of really good movies.
He looks dirty to me. He looks greasy and dirty,
he's a good
and
actor.
he's supposed to be a hunk. And the thing is, I
That's the
like
thing
him
that I
in
never
any
saw.
other film
No,
except for Jurassic Park. I did love him in The Fly because this was right in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Oh, and there was another horror film that he did that I actually really liked that I'm probably the one person who remembers. Mr. Frost.
I've heard
Yes.
of it.
Great.
I've never
Jack,
seen it.
Not Jack Frost. It was
Not
simply
Jack-
called Mr. Frost.
Right.
And actually, I want to say that somewhere in these lovely collection of VHS tapes, there's a copy. Because I saw it the other day.
Oh, we're
And
gonna have to
I
look through.
contemplated picking it up, but I didn't, only because